Hi guys, hope you're doing really well. In this video, what I wanted to talk about is a little bit more on the female narcissist. I am going to focus probably more on the covert narcissist because I just have more experience with that, and that's what a lot of my clients have dealt with that. I also think probably with females, there's probably more females that are covert narcissists over overt narcissists. And I think some of that's because society will, I think society is going to have a much harder time with the female overt narcissist, accepting somebody being so overtly arrogant and that sort of thing. So I think a female narcissist is much more likely to get what she wants by acting in a covert way. So a lot of times you're going to see shyness, you're going to see introversion, you're going to see sort of a really like almost easygoing persona at first. Somebody who is, sort of mimics your whatever you like. Like if you like baseball, they like baseball. And, they're the type that when you first date them, they're going to go, climbing with you if you love to climb, or skiing with you, or they're going to go, to a football game with you. And they're going to feign as if these are things that they like to do, right? It's really weird with narcissists, but, I think at the end of the day, it's really difficult to know what these people like, because remember, they mirror. So they're always just like copying the next source of supply, right? Which you are going to see something very weird in the end of the relationship. It's possible that if this person is securing a new source of supply, they might start acting like they've never acted. And you could have been with them for 10 or 20 years. And all of a sudden they're going to be wearing different clothes, possibly, talking differently, having different phrases that you've never heard them use, having maybe even eating things that they didn't used to eat. It's very weird. But again, they're mirroring, right? They're copying. So they can be very schizophrenic in the end of a relationship if they're taking on the new persona and they're trying to go back to your persona. It's like they're kind of like a little computer that is like fritzing on the fritz, because it's very odd. If you've ever experienced that, please put in the comments below if you experienced that. I did with a male narcissist. It was the weirdest thing. Been with this person for a decade. All of a sudden they were dressing differently, talking differently, eating different food. It was very weird. It was disconcerting. I was like, oh my gosh, who is this person? It was super, super weird, especially after such a long-term situation. But with the female narcissist, you're going to have, I already talked about a lot of times they use sex to get you in real quick. They're going to use seduction, and it can be in the form of like a quiet, shy seduction. What you're going to have possibly with both types of narcissists is if you are the type of person that is sort of, I don't want to say prudish, but maybe more moral, they are going to minimize the amount or number of people that they've slept with. Like it's really common for a narcissist to tell you, oh, well, I've only slept with 3 or 4 people or whatever, when in reality it could be 100. But they have no problem lying about that whatsoever, especially if that's how you are and they're trying to mirror you, or they're just trying to perform that they're much more virginal than they really in fact are, right? So they're sending this mask of this virginal, shy, introverted, possibly victim, right? A lot of times with both types of narcissists, remember, they're always the victim. This is happening to them, right? They have no part. This is happening to them. Their ex, left them, and they tried and did everything they could to make the relationship work. But remember, nothing is their fault. They have an inability to take any personal responsibility for their part in breakups or in any situation. They really lack introspection and self-reflection. So same with the female narcissist, like they don't have self-reflection, they lack introspection. They're typically people who will not go to therapy unless they're dragged into it, right, by a spouse or the court system. So they don't need to go to therapy because they're perfect, they're fixed, they already dealt with all their trauma. There is no trauma, right? So these are people that don't typically go to therapy on their own. There's a few exceptions to that, but they're rare. These are also people that get into another relationship right after the last relationship is over, but usually there was overlap. They were grooming that new source of supply so that they could shift into that new relationship, because these are people that typically do not take breaks. They don't take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year breaks in between relationships so that they can heal. They just don't. And if they have any break, they're dating, right? So there's not really any time where they just don't date, and they're actually working on themselves. They're actually cultivating what it's like to really love themselves, right? They always have to have somebody else to regulate their emotions. So these people, even though they often burn through a lot of relationships, these are people that are typically, always in relationships. There's no, being single out of choice so that you can do your own work and therapy and healing, right? That's not very common with these narcissists. They will, withhold. We talked about withholding sex, information, communication, affection, words of affirmation. These people tend to have, especially during the devaluation period, there is going to be disdain. You are going to feel their disdain. And all narcissists have this 3 phase of the relationship. Idealization, they idolize you, put you on a pedestal, you can do no wrong. Devaluation, which can be slow and subtle over time, or it can be much quicker. And then the discard. And typically when they discard you, it is because they're either terrified that you're about to discard them and they cannot handle any form of rejection. They have to be the one in the power. Or they discard you because they've secured a new source of supply. Rather than like normal people that can say, hey, you know what? Or healthy people, I should say, that can work on relationships and go, man, I think we have some relationship problems. Let's go to therapy. Let's be honest. Let's get authentic. Let's talk about the sex. Let's talk about the money. Let's get this stuff worked out, right? That's what healthy people do. That is not what narcissists are capable of. And remember, they have probably, with the covert narcissist, they have been smearing you for years, possibly, to their family. If their family starts treating you crappy, or they always treat you crappy, you should wonder why, because they're doing a smear campaign. They are subtly smearing you or overtly smearing you. It could be for years, so that they have it all set up. So when the relationship is over, they get to be the innocent one. They're the victim, and you are the one that caused the problem. And the way they do that with people that will listen to them, their family or their friends, is they start smearing you, and they character assassinate you. And it can be very slow. It can be very subtle, right? It's like it oftentimes it's a compliment. It's like a backhanded compliment. It's a compliment and then the takeaway, right? So you're going to see that a lot. And actually, you may not see it. You may not know that this is happening at all, but they're probably doing it to the affair partner. They're smearing you. They're smearing you to their family, most likely to their friends that don't know you. The friends that, like in my case, the friends that knew both of us knew that whatever that person said that was negative about me was actually probably not true, because they knew me. They knew that I'm a pretty upfront, authentic person. I'm not perfect. I have all sorts of flaws. I readily admit what they are. I readily work on them, right? But to people that didn't know me, it was a much easier thing to do, the smear campaign, because if somebody doesn't know you and you're not there to defend yourself, then they're probably going to believe it, right? And these narcissists are very good at getting people to believe their BS because they're highly manipulative. So with the female narcissist, you're going to have that manipulation. You're going to have intermittent reinforcement, which, as somebody put in the comments below, that's one of the most intense forms of manipulation. And it is hot and cold, love bombing, and then they disappear for a few days, or you never know what you're going to get. They keep you on walking on eggshells. When you're in a relationship with one of these people, you don't feel secure. You don't know you know what's happening, and you never feel secure, right? Because they like to keep you off balance, and they do all sorts of underhanded manipulative tactics to keep you off balance. So there's a weird feeling that you have that they're not really fully committed, and guess what? They're not. That's because they're already grooming new sources, or they're constantly looking for that next source of supply. They're always looking for the grass to be greener on the other side. And you know what? There's a saying that the reason why the grass is greener on the other side, on your neighbor's lawn, is because your neighbor is watering the grass. So if you want to have green grass, water your lawn. So I hope this helps you guys. And I'm probably going to do a few more on the female narcissist, because I just feel like these 10 minutes go by and I still have more intel. Okay, thanks so much. Talk to you soon.